Welcome back then guys. This week we're in Essex at Crowsheath fishery. A beautiful little lake I've never been to before. I say little, it's much bigger than I thought it would be, to be honest. It stretches all the way up around there. It's got a nice couple of islands, big islands too. Stretches all the way down there. There's loads of little nooks and crannies, reed lines, and there's some good fish to go at in here. I think there's 1030s or so, and an alleged 40, and plenty of big 20s to go at, but they're pretty fish. That's what's brought me down here. This time of year I'm getting back into the swing of things. I'm just looking for bites. I'm not looking for monster carp. I've got my light rods with me still. I'm not yet fishing. It's 10:30 in the morning and it has been absolutely tipping it down. Look, I mean tipping it. I just about got the bivvy up in time and got the bed in. Everything's still sort of tucked underneath there, just shouting away. But I have knocked up the bait ready. That's soaking. That's been soaking for about an hour now. So I've had a bit of a nightmare as well. I forgot my spod rod, didn't I? Gutted. But my brother and his mate are coming down, but I think they might come down tomorrow now instead of today, so I'm a bit lost, if you know what I mean, but a bit buggered. But I think I'll just take the lead off one of my other rods and spod out with that for now. I'm not fishing mega range. I found a couple of nice spots, one closer in. It's quite choddy and silty out there, and then one out a little bit further out. That's a bit cleaner out there. So I'm looking forward to it, buzzing to get going. New fishery. Always loved, I was excited as hell driving all the way down here this morning. Literally buzzing my nut off. Wake up at what, 6:15. It's a nice easy drive for me, Essex. It's only an hour away. That's nothing, is it? A blink in your ear. It's them 2-hour journeys that absolutely destroy your brain. So we're here, we're at Crowsheath. We're after them big girls again. Right, before it starts raining again, I'm going to get the trap set and figure out how to get some bank sticks in this or around it. I might get my screw tops out, who knows. Well, we'll have a catch up in a bit. I'm going to drop a bit of bait in. I'm not going to record any of that because it's probably going to be quite sloppy because I'm using one of my fishing rods with normal mono. Not ideal, but we'll make it work. So until something happens, I'll see you in a bit. Right guys, got itchy feet up there already. Had the rods in about 2 hours, had a little power nap for an hour. Woke up, peg just felt a bit stale. I'd put all that bait in and made all the disturbance earlier. So I thought, you know what, just leave that and just come back to that this evening. So I've come further down the bank to the left. There's no one to the left of me. I'm what, 1, 2, 3, 4 pegs up now. And there's clearly more fish in the area that I'm at now. So I simply just put 2 small bags of pellet on, dipped it in our new glug and wanged them out there basically, not clipped up or nothing, just where I've seen a bit of fizzing up coming up. There's definitely fish in the area, so I thought, you know, capitalise on it. A lot of the waters I fish these days for 30s and 40s and 50s, they're packed, so you don't get the chance to do this. So I managed to get down here midweek this week, so I'm going to work Saturday and Sunday instead. So I was just casting there. And yeah, so it's not too busy. I'm here, I'm on a few fish. I put a nice little bag of glug out there and the traps are set. Both went out first time. I've got one in, I say quite deep silt. I felt it down, it's definitely in some debris and stuff. But I'm not fussed about that. I put a light lead on it. I sort of knew I was going to be falling into a bit of debris, so I put a 2.5 ounce lead. I've still got fishing it on a lead clip. I'm fishing it running this session. So I've got a long old lead on it that should just slowly pull in there. It's not a massive lead, so it shouldn't plug in too deep. And on the other one, landed on a decent clear spot, much clearer than the left hand rod. So we're fishing. So we'll see what does the bite. See if they're sieving through the naturals in the silt or not. The right hand rod is definitely had a lot of fish activity over it over the last 40 minutes. That's why I come down here in the first place. So we're fishing. All my stuff's all the way up there. There's only 3 of us on this bank. It's a lovely long lake. It's absolutely beautiful down here. So I thought, get down here, get a few rods out. Maybe pick a bonus fish up. So I'm going to stop waffling now. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I can see out there. There we are guys. Looks lovely, doesn't it? Quite impressed with this lake, you know. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do, if that makes sense. It's quite commercialised, it gets busy. I thought it was going to be a lot smaller than it is, and I thought the pegs were going to be quite tight and you'd be all over each other. But in fact it's quite the opposite actually. The pegs are beautifully spaced apart, and you have got your own water per peg, and there's plenty of features out there below the water, that is. There's little humps and gullies and little deep spots and shallow areas and the odd bar and that. So it's quite nice. It's lakes I like to get stuck into. Also, it's not too weedy. This time of year, guys, I'll give you a big tip. I try and avoid the real heavily weeded areas, like what lakes I'd usually fish early in the season. I try and avoid them, to be honest, unless they've got a boat on hand, you know, on every bank. I'm not willing to hook on big fish, you know, like 30s, 40s and 50s, if there's no chance of you landing them, or if there's only like 20% chance. It's not about dropping fish. So if you find, I don't know if you guys have noticed any routine to my yearly fishing trips. Early in the year I start on really quite tricky waters, clear waters full of weed, and that way I can still get the right line presentation, and you know, without losing too many fish. Come August time, the weed's up on a lot of them lakes, so I try and find a lake with a bit of low line weed, or even no weed if you can. You know, there is lakes out there like this one hasn't got much. It's got bits in places, but not too much to worry about. You're never going to lose any fish in a weed bed here. And it just mixing it up a bit, innit? And that allows me to use my light rods. There they are again. I like these light rods. 2 1/4, would you believe it? Some of you guys out there might be like, 2 1/4, what the hell's this guy up to? Yep, they're up to the job. Banked a 30 on them last week, didn't I, at Manor Farm? No problem. And they bend right from the butt, and they're awesome. Awesome action. And sometimes we forget about the sport. And if I was fishing a weedier water, I would have to turn up with my 3 1/2s and stuff, and or big casting. But these little intimate lakes, I'm not going to be fishing over 14 wraps, and like I say, no snags or weed to worry about. So I'll leave it there. We'll save a bit of battery. Got plenty of time left, still day one. Got 48 hours session, absolutely loving it. No kids or misses with me this week, so this is my first night session out since, well, early in the year on my own. Loving the peace and quiet, and you know, I can't hear any traffic, nothing like that. So I'm just going to sit back, watch the rods and relax, and as soon as anything carpy happens, you'll be knowing about it. See you in a bit. Well, look, spot the difference. Yep, moved, didn't I? Got on my toes, didn't feel right down there. Put a lot of bait in up there, and I ended up moving up here in the rain. I sat here for 3 hours in the rain, got absolutely soaked. Didn't get a bite, but was on fish, and then decided to grow up and get my gear packed up and then move. I wouldn't have set my gear up so early when I got here this morning if it weren't absolutely hacking it down, to be honest. There's a lot of fish up here, so I've rebaited back up. I used a little tiny spawn, which is the little tiny baby one, just to try and avoid spooking the fish majorly. I've definitely spooked them. I've got the leads in position without spooking them, and then I spotted over the top, so I haven't crashed any more leads in. It looks absolutely prime for a big gal. If we don't get a 30 this session, I'll be very surprised. Obviously my confidence is brimming from last week, 2 18 members from Manor Farm. Look at them. Look how skinny them rods are. So sexy. 2 1/4. Can you believe I'm fishing with 2 1/4 pound Tesco rods? Look how thin they are. It's epic. The through action on them is mental. When you get a big carp on them, I kid you not, they bend from the first ring up. It's crazy, but I'm loving the good fun on it on the light rods. Like I said earlier, there's no weed or snags in here. I'm close to all them reeds. Look how carpy it looks over there. Let me get a zoom in on that. There seems to be a lot of carp in here. I wouldn't have moved so fast if I didn't see big carp, but there's a lot of big carp here. So I put a lot of bait in there. I left it. I put a whole bucket of bait in. Let me just get back in position. Get the old flip flops ready to do a runner to the rods if I need to. So yeah, I just whacked a bit of grub on now. Tonight, 2 ribeye steaks. I'm on a diet. Have any of you ever been on that keto diet? That's what I'm on. It's like no carbs. Or like very little carbs, like 25-30 grams a day. And no sugar if you can help it. No sugar, no carbs. Plenty of protein. And with that I'm allowed a little bit of coleslaw. That's it for my dinner. No spuds, no pasta, no noodles this session. Living it up, eh? Living it up. But on a high note, I've lost £9 in 10 days. So stripping away nicely. I'll keep you informed on the old diet for those who might want to lose a bit of weight themselves. None of us are getting any younger, are we? It's nice to eat all the crap you want, but if you can go on a little 2-week diet and lose a stone, then hey ho, it's worth doing, isn't it? Let us know if any of you have tried that keto diet and if you've done well on it or whatnot. Oh, I seem to be doing alright. Right, steaks are pretty much done. Time to tuck up for the night. It's 8:30, it's looking grim. Nights are starting to draw back in a little bit, I guess. Tomorrow's going to be a much better day and we're going to get some good footage. So until the morning or the evening, any evening action, I'll see you soon. Guys, you joined me on a very windy morning. At least that old rain stopped. It rained all day yesterday. I'm already learning about this lake. That's the fun thing about new lakes. You're constantly learning. What, wind's just swinging around now actually. Yeah, so I've already learned spom on this place is the kiss of death. You are allowed bait boats. I spotted out last night, only with the tiny little one. Didn't miss a clip once. Got everyone in as really quiet, every spot, and they vacated the area. I seen one fish last night in the middle of the night, showed over to the right of the spot, and that's it. It's been calm this morning. I've seen no fizzing. It's 9:30 now, but I'm not sure. Don't hold me on this one. I don't think they start feeding hard until like 11 o'clock in the more sort of 11 till, well, dark. I mean, all lakes have got different feeding patterns and that's the fun of working things out. But I got here yesterday at what, 10 to 8 in the morning. I searched all this whole place here where I'm actually camped up at the minute. I didn't see one carp or one fizz. By what, 11:30 there was fizz everywhere and there was carp everywhere. And the same up that end. I didn't see anything till a bit later on. I just think the fish don't feed early in the morning here. It's not definite. I'll find out by tomorrow. I'm still learning. That's the whole point of these new waters and that, and new adventures. I'm absolutely buzzing still to get my first bite. I can't wait. Got my flip-flops ready to go, mate. Ready to go. So basically, I've got all my gear down here. I think this is going to be more of a day area for me. The lake's not too busy at the minute. Oh. Liner. So basically what I've got 2 pegs, 4 pegs apart, control completely different parts of the lake, and I've put a lot of bait in both pegs, a lot of particle, pellet and boiling crumb and pieces and chops and all that lot, yeah. So what I'm going to do is not spot out. I've got more particle and stuff with me in that. I'm not going to spot out no matter what anymore, but tonight I'm going to take the bed and I'm going to go camp up there and sleep under the stars, and I think that's going to be a better place for a night bite because he got a night bite and he ain't fishing far from my spot. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go camp up there with the rods tonight, I think, in the dark. It's not confirmed yet, depends on the action down here, and then come back down here maybe about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, fish tomorrow out. So before I do, I put a lot of bait up there, but they would have eaten some because I did see a fish over the spot up there earlier. I've got some 18s in here, look. These are mixed ensign and synchronise. So 2 awesome baits in 18s, lovely and air dried out. Where was I? Okay, the wind just blew the camera over. I'll cut that bit out. Just to prove that we're in real life situations here, and the wind has really picked up and swung round. Anyway, 2 dry 18s here, 2 different boilies, 2 different colours. I've got about 3/4 of a kilo in here, and last night I devoured a pot of cherries because I'm allowed to eat cherries on the diet I'm on, and I just put some water in here. So what I don't want to be doing is going to put fresh dry boilies in on spots where carp are happy to feed because everything's washed out and looking nice, just how they like it. So I'm going to get some boilies, and I'm already thinking ahead, so I've got like 12 hours before I go and put any more bait in. I'm going to put half a kilo, not even half a kilo, 1/4 of a kilo of 18 ensign and synchronise in this pot of cherries with water, and I'm going to let them soak till the time comes when I have to catapult them out this evening. I'm going to avoid the spawn now from here. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. I'm going to come up with a new game plan. I'm back next week for part 2, so stay tuned, guys. So there we go, look, I've got 1/4 of a kilo there ish, all underwater, all soaking, and they'll soften up a little bit for tonight, and they'll just act a bit more like the rest of the bait out there. I don't want to shock the carp. These carp are crafty. Jesus, I feel like I'm fishing at bluebell for swan carp. You put one lead near them and they're out of there. One spot, they're gone for hours. They've clearly seen it all. You know, it's heavily pressured water. They don't want nothing to do with anyone. They're really tricky, and this is just how I like it. I'm really up for this challenge. Getting one of these big gals out of here will be a true honour, because the place is absolutely stunning. If you live local in Essex and you haven't been down here, get down Crowsheath, because it's a stunning place, this Carp Lake. Lots of nooks and crannies. This week or next week, I mean this week the weather was a bit bleak yesterday when I arrived. Maybe next week I'll give you a tour of the lake and show you some of the islands. It looks beautiful. So to get one of these big gals out, I think there's 830s in here right now, this time of year. You know, the fish are all a bit underweight from spawning. When they spawned, what, 8 weeks ago now? They're starting to look a bit better now, so fingers crossed we'll get one of them big gals we're after. I do feel like I'm going to sit out here for the day. I do feel like if I get a bite, it could be one of the big ones. So that's the main thing. I've got my baits prepped for tonight. Pot full of cherries with washed out boilies. So yeah, right, time to get some grub on now, because I've been holding off looking for carpy action. Yeah, none of that is there. So I might as well stuff my face and chill out for the day. So I'll see you in a bit. Finally, it's not going to be a fishless vlog after all. After 24 hours and nothing but a sniff, had the first take on the right hand rod that I found on a little clear area, about 8 or 9 wraps out. And I put probably 15 mini sponges on last night, catapulted about 18mm boilies just in the general area. And that's the rod that's ripped off. And on this rod was a little dumbbell mini snowman presentation with red, believe it or not. Trying everything, and the red seems to have worked. Not a giant, it's a fish to get off the mark, and you know what this is? It's confidence. I was just about to reel in, I just made a couple of pop-up rigs up, and yeah, just about to reel in and go and have a walk and see my mate on the other lake, and then come back and put Ronnie's on. And this is steadily took off. It's a bit lively. 17.5 pound common, beautiful condition, lovely big mouth on it. There you go. It's not a giant, but we're off the mark, aren't we? This here is just confidence for this evening. Still might go up the other end for tonight and take the bed and camp under the stars and come back here tomorrow morning. Who knows, we'll play it by ear for now. There you go, look. Beautiful little common, clean as hell. Thanks mate, you made my day. Quality. Good to get off the mark, new venue, and hopefully in part 2 when I get back next week we'll have a bit of a better start. Now I found a few spots, we should be able to come and ping baits out straight away without leading out and all that malarkey. Here's the other side. Lovely little clean common. Right, I'm going to get her back, onwards and upwards, hopefully more to come. So this is what I caught that fish on earlier. I've been round to see my pal on the other lake. I've had the rods wound in for probably what, 2 hours now, just resting the peg out. That's what I caught on. A little bit of red pop up, fished on top of an ensign little wafter dumbbell. The top I used were these pop-ups here, and these are our Plan B barrel pop-ups. They come in pink, white and red, and a real fruity flavour. So, and you get them all in one pot too, so you ain't got to buy more than one pot. So yeah, I fished that just over a little wafter like that, as you can see. That's what got me the bite in the end. But do I change it now to a white topper? I haven't tried white here yet. I had to fish on red, but it did take me 24 hours to get the bite. Decisions, eh? I think I'll go red. Well guys, this last evening, traps are set. Still tinkering around with rigs, trying to crack the code on this little tricky water. Proven to be very tricky. Much harder than I expected, but I'm loving it. I love a good tricky water. The traps are basically set. Well, the right hand rod is set. I ain't bringing that in until I go home, and that's tomorrow. The left hand rod, I've just dinked it out there, about 8 wraps, just on a bit of fizz, about mid screen there. Looks a bit darker over there. Got about 20 minutes of light left, so I thought why not have a quick update. Looks a lot lighter when I point down at the rods though. There's the baby set. So the right hand rod went back out perfectly on the spot that done me the bite earlier. I pulled the left hand rod off now. I'm going to play it by ear on that spot. If I see fish, I'll move the rod back there tomorrow morning, but if I don't, I'll leave it off. So the left hand rod there is going to become the right hand rod right on dark in about half an hour. I'm going to pull that little, I've changed that to a little pop-up. I'm going to pull that in and wang that diagonally that way. Because I put a lot of old bait in up there, didn't I, before I moved. I think the fish might spend a bit more time in there out in the evening time. So that's the plan. The right hand rod will become the left hand rod. And so, and I'm wanging one way right. And we'll play it by ear for tomorrow. I'm going to keep dotting this left hand rod about and try and pinch a bite. Proving very tricky. Not a lot of carpy action happening at all. Not much fizzing up. Not like it was when I got here. I think I messed things up a little bit, but I needed to get bait in. I needed to get these spots cleaned for next week. So I've got 5 spots to come back to next week, and they're all clean as you like. Well, they will be. Right, I better save on battery. I'm going to chow down on some tandoori chicken. So yeah, catch you in the morning. Afternoon, people. No morning update today. It's been a bit drizzly all day and not a lot's happened, to be honest. I lost one at 2 AM this morning. Found a decent fish as well, just a hook pull after about 5 or 6 minutes of having it on. Gutted about that, especially on the new venue. But I just banked this another nice common here. 22 pound 4 ounces. Lovely long lean looking common. Yeah, strange here, all the fish just kite straight into the margins. They just run either way and just head straight for the bank. They beeline, it's instant, like as soon as you pick the rod up. It's quite crazy. They certainly know how to try and get rid of the hook. I'm buzzing with this one. It's been a real struggle this session. I've tried everything. I even tried zigs for a little while this morning. I've literally chucked everything at these fish. Yellow corn, pink corn, boilies, boilie topper. Both the bites I had one the 17 and the bite I lost last night, one the red pop-up tops, and this one fell on a small pellet with a small bag of pellet on the baited spot. But all 3 bites come on the baited spot. The fish have been feeding hard on naturals, that's why no one's catching. No one's catching really. So the odd person's having the odd one, but yeah, today 5 lads left and they didn't have a fish between them in 4 nights, so I'm pretty happy. I think I've got a lot of homework done this session, mapped out 3 pegs, and I've learnt a lot. I've been watching the fish all day. I've learnt their patrol routes and I know what they want next week, so when I'm back I stand a much greater chance of getting one of the big ones. So this lively fish is giving me the runaround. This fish would be quite big pre-spawn. Got a lot of length to it, really long. I should imagine probably maybe up to 20 pre-spawn. Right, should let me get her up now. Come on, baby, be calm. Be calm. There you go, look. Long torpedo fighting machine. Well, say fighting machine. Coming a bit like a dog on a lead, just ran in straight into the margin really. As did the other one in fact. But still, absolute beauty of a common, big old tail on it. Just under 22.5 pound and we're off the mark. First 20. Loving it. Crowsheath 20 pound common. Wow. Loving it. So I'm on the way, I'm on the road to recovery now. Got a few bites under my belt and hopefully we'll move on from this, and next week will be the week. So I'm going to really enjoy this little series. You guys will have to come down and check it out if you're local to Essex. It's a real nice place this lake is. Let's get her up this side for you. Well, I hope so, mate.
What, are you doing another night then?
Nah. The missus won't let me tonight. The bailiff's just come. Let's get her up. Lively, lively fish. Got some length to her. There we go, here's the other side. Big old paddle on it. Lovely. Right, time to slip her back. Well guys, that's it. The last rod is in. Time to call this session a day. Still fish about as well. It's a shame that it looks proper carpy, doesn't it, this weather. I mean, this rain's been pretty relentless this session. I've seen a few big gals, you know. It's got me eager to get back next week and have a go at them. So not a total failure. Had a couple of fish, that nice 20 and lost one. 3 bites, 2 landed. Can't moan at that. Little 48 hour. There's all the gear, look. All packed up, ready to go. And you know what, when we get back next week, I think it's time to get rid of them little rods. Them little 2.5s or whatever, get rid of them now. Because these fish just run straight into the margin anyway. And they don't really fight like, you know, an enjoyable fight. It's all hit and hold. So it's not really enjoyable on the light rods. Not in here, these carp nowhere to go. All 3 have done the same thing. So I'm going to bring the big gals back out. And I'm going to fish 3 rods next week. Because the lake's definitely trickier than I thought. Coming back with a new game plan. And we'll have to see what peg we get into. So for now, I better go because this rain's pretty relentless. I've got everything covered on the barra, so everything's just about dry. And we'll catch up in a week's time when we're back here. So keep following along. Subscribe if you like these kind of videos. And I'll see you on the next one.